y'all, I have not filmed for this channel in quite a while. And if you saw one of my previous videos, then you know why, okay? I was going through something with one of my littles. And I still have a hurdle to jump over with that. But hopefully that's going to be coming to an end soon. And that brings me to today's video. This is called death oil, okay? Now, I have other jars of death oils, but I wanted to go step by step and show you how to make it. Now, how do you use oils? Okay, that's like a big question. How do I use oils? Why do you make these oils? Well, I use them to dress candles in certain workings. Use it to mark doors. You can mark someone's shoes. You can mark inside of their house. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know what you're doing, and if you are not ready to stand up and come into your power doing this kind of thing, then you need to stop, okay? Because so many people, they're like, well, can you do this spell for me? Or can you just show me this spell right quick? Some of this stuff is not for beginners, and it's not for people, and I call it gumbo altars. They throw together like these gumbo spell and these gumbo altars, and I call it gumbo because it's like a little of this, a little of that, and you don't know what in hell you're doing. And then you're wondering why things are going wrong and why you're not getting the results that you want. Yes, I'm throwing out warnings here because, I have people, asking questions and, saying certain things. And I know I might still sound funny in this video. I'm still waiting for my voice to come back 100% and it's not here. But anyway, when you're not able to speak your truth, you get like that energy blockage in your throat. But anyway, people, they see a TikTok. I call it the TikTok witches. It's like they see something on there. Oh, let me go try this. And then you don't set your intent. You don't throw up your protection. And shit goes wrong. And then you wonder why. But anyway, let's talk about death oil. Death oil can be used, as the name says, death oil, to bring about endings. Whatever ending it is that you have in your head, that you set your intent, that's the ending it's going to bring about. Do with that what you will. You can use it for flat out hexing or flat out like enemy removal. If you need somebody out of your life, you need people to leave you alone. If you have identified the troublemaker and you want them removed, then you would use this to dress your candles. You can put a few drops on your petitions whenever you write out your petitions and burn your candles. But anyway, what do I use? First off, and I got my paper here so that I don't tell you any wrong meanings. I like to have things planned out before I start talking. But anyway, number one, we're going to start putting some herbs in our jar. Okay, so let's open up our jar. And I have some incense here. Why would you want to cleanse a jar if you're going to use it for hexing? You don't know who touched this jar. It's a family person out there, and you don't want any of their energy on here. And this is why I do it sometimes. You don't want any of their energies on here that, could possibly bounce off of them and cause them any harm. I'm not wishing them any harm. I know who I'm aiming this at. But, the Walmart workers weren't hurting anybody. So, I like to get their residual off of it. First, we're going to start off with Devil's Shoestring. Now, Devil's Shoestring is one of the first things that you really want to learn how to work with when you learn how to conjure, okay? It can either protect or it can hex. It can protect you and it can hex them. When using it in protection, as mountain folk, because I live in the Appalachian Mountains here. Blue Ridge Mountains, part of the Appalachian Mountain. But anyway, it's thought that when you use these, you're sort of like binding up the devil. It's like you're tying his shoestrings together. You're binding him. But I use it also to hex, to bring down an enemy. It's like you're tying them to the devil. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of times when it comes to folk magic, hoodoo, things like that, plants only have one botanical name. Okay, one. There's one botanical name. But in folk magic and stuff, a bunch of different plants can be used for the same thing. For example, this Devil's Shoestring here, you probably have heard different names for it. There's hobblebush, which is the most common. Hobblebush, cramp bark, cat's gut, goat's rue. Now, all of those are different plants, and they each have their own botanical name because they're all separate things. But they are used in conjunction or interchangeably with Devil's Shoestring, because true Devil's Shoestring can be a little bit difficult to find, okay? So devil's shoestring is the number one thing that I'm going to be putting in here, okay? We're going to bind their asses is what we're doing. Now, for the next thing we're using, this is the bark of a plant. It's called Midnight Horror. Midnight Horror. It is some nasty shit, let me tell you that. And yeah, I cuss in these videos, I don't care. And that's the way I talk in real life. But this is Midnight Horror, okay? This is used for domination. Domination over your enemy. It's also known by broken bones and Indian trumpet. It's a very odd looking plant. I would tell you to get online and Google it. Whoops. Midnight Horror. It's very odd looking. So we're adding that. Like I said, this is for domination over our enemies. Domination over the person that's trying to cause us harm. Now next we have hook vine. Hook vine. Let me see if I can get this piece here. Hook vine is a very odd looking plant. And that it is a vine and it has hooks all over it. You see that? Pretty cool, huh? So, hook vine. So, imagine your enemy coming across one of these vines with these hooks in it. And they just get hooked and it binds them and just trips them all up. And it holds them. They can't get away because all of these hooks are in them, right? So this is what we're going to use the hook vine for. It will grab them and it will hold them. It will bind them. It will remove them, okay? There's another piece right there. Whoopsie. There's another piece. You see the little hooks there? So I'm putting in hook vine to grab them and not let them go. Now, where do I get all my herbs? Various places online. Lots of witchy supply shops on Etsy. You can support small business. I urge you to do so. So just get on there and look for whatever it is that you want. Sulfur. This is sulfur. Just your regular old yellow sulfur. And every witch needs sulfur in her arsenal. It destroys your enemy's power. Okay? It destroys their power. So we're going to dump in some sulfur. Now I have a few interesting things that we're going to put into this jar. So let me get my containers over here of various things. Y'all know I love cats. This is a bobcat claw, okay? Look how big that is. This is a bobcat claw to grab and hold and rip and shred and tear. So we're going to throw that in there. Now, how can I put this? I like to know exactly what's in my jars. And yes, I do label them. And I do have like little charms and decorations that I hang off of my jars so that when I look at it, I know what it is. And when you make your death oil, you're going to know which jar it is. But anyway, look at these skulls. These skulls are carved out of cow bone. Yes, they have holes in them. They are beads. But, and these were a little costly, but can't remember exactly where I got these. Anyway, I know that they were a little costly. I've had them in my arsenal for a while. So we are going to be putting these skulls in there. Now what do we have next? We have a rattlesnake rattle. Why would we want to use a rattlesnake rattle? Would you want to get bitten by a rattlesnake? No? Alright. So, rattlesnake rattle. Let's just dump those in there. Let's take a look. And this is a large one. This is a fairly large one. You can get these once again on Etsy. A lot of shops online have them. What else do I want to use? And we're about at the end here. Now, when you think about death oil, deadly things, things that will kill and bind and squeeze and just get rid of things. What we have here, this is real. If you're squeamish, don't look at this. This is real. I have a scorpion. Yes, this is a real scorpion. Let's turn it over and look at him. Real scorpion. I was going to say real live scorpion, but of course you can see this poor fellow is not live anymore. Once again, get online, look for scientific specimens, things of that nature. Taxidermy supply. You can see those. Nice big scorpion. Gently place it down into your jar. Next, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like spiders, so I'm getting ready to show a spider. If you don't like spiders, I suggest you look away. But you know what? Stop being squeamish when it comes to your workings. You need to drop all that fear. And that's all it is. I'm afraid of spiders. It's a fear. Stop it. This is a tarantula I'm getting ready to show you. Now, tarantulas, if you've ever owned a tarantula, like the little hairs can be very irritating to your skin. It's almost like fiberglass, okay? If it gets down in your skin and sticks you, very irritating to get out. I would suggest that you wear gloves. Y'all know I'm hard-headed. I hate gloves. I hate them with a passion. But anyway, real tarantula here. Once again, it is no more. It is deceased. Just be very careful how you're handling it, okay? I've got dust under my nails, all this herb dust. Just be very careful how you're handling it. Look at those. Would you want those to sink into you? No. So we're putting her down in here. Let's just drop her down in there. And now I have some snake skin. So the snake skin here. Good old snake skin. Now you're probably asking, do you have to use all of this stuff? No, you don't. But in your mind, and it's all about intent. In your mind, think about things that would harm and hurt and, things of that nature, herbs that bind. Think of it like that when it comes to making your own jar of things, okay? I get so many questions from people, well, can I use this instead of this? Can I use this instead of this? When you think about that herb you have in your hand, what do you think about? If you think about, yes, this herb would get rid of an enemy, like the hook vine. It would hook them, it would snag them, it would hurt them. Then use it. I hiccuped. Then use it. The scorpion, with this powerful, painful sting. The tarantula with its powerful bite, Use it. It's the intent and what these things mean to you. But I'm telling you, this oil, the way I made it, it's nasty and it's effective. Now, I'm going to be using grapeseed oil. I like to use grapeseed oil, olive oil. Let's just gently pour this in. And now when you make your jars of oils, you don't have to just say, oops, okay, it's done. And then just let it sit. You can keep adding things to it. If you come across an herb, or if you come across a plant, or if you come across, an animal, a scorpion, or this, or this, or that you think would be beneficial, just add it to the damn jar. You don't have to make another jar to add all this shit. All right, so let's see. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, when it comes to like the scorpion and the tarantula and stuff, a lot of times they will float. Some of the herbs will float. Don't worry about that. I think that looks good. So now I'm just going to seal this up. I'm going to place it on my altar over here, and I'm going to ask the deities that I work with to do their thing and to help me with this, to help me, with the intention that I have here. And like I said, at any time you can add to it. So I'm going to let this sit. Before I use it, let it sit for quite a while to let the things infuse into the oil, okay? I say let it sit for a week or two, okay, before you start to use it, because you want some of the essences of what you have in the jar to come out into the oil, and then you want to use it, okay? So, yep, there's our little friends down in there. This is some nasty stuff. Now, I will tell you, when I get to the cemetery that I want to get to, I will be collecting graveyard dirt, and I will add the graveyard dirt to it. Now, using graveyard dirt, this is something that I'm going to go into in the future. When you take dirt from a graveyard first, you need to find an active grave, okay? Someone that will help to work with you if you want them to help you. Now, for the graveyard dirt, if you want it to be for a specific person, now this is a lot of oil to use for a specific person, you would find a grave that has either their first name or their last name on it. Preferably, if you could find a grave that has their first name and another one that has their last name, combine that dirt together and throw it in there. Of course, you want to pay the gatekeeper. Leave your offerings, ask permission from the energies before you just start taking and saying, yeah, I want this, this spirit to go work for me. But when you get that dirt, you can add it in here. So when I do get some, I will be adding it. And you just add whatever you want. But like I said, let this sit a week or two. Then you can use it to dress your candles and continue on with your spell work. And that is it. That is how I just made a big old nasty, nasty jar of death oil. So anyway, I hope that you found this informative. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I will see y'all next time.